And a question that also we're going to go and lead into the next one is by Rexton Didgeridoo on Facebook. He asks you, because this is one of your things that a lot of people have, and I look up to you for it, man. It's one of the mind-blowing things that I've seen you do. But your amount of
My
skill
taxes.
level, yeah. Well, I mean, other than that, you could tell me. You could tell me how you actually get money back from a government. That'd be amazing.
Oh, tell me how I get money back from anything at the moment.
yeah, you know. But what is your secret for your vocal scratching? I've seen you do tutorials online. I saw you do some tutorials when you were at the Beatbox camp, and I just want to, like, that's his question, is how do you do your vocal scratching? But how did you get so good at it? What really took your mind and really took your scratches? Because one of the very first videos I ever saw of you was even at, like, you did Scribble Jam way back when, I think it was 7, right? And I remember even the scratch. I saw the video being like, whoa, that guy's tight with the scratches. All right, who's this guy? But so explain how you do your vocal scratches and tips and tricks for people that are wanting to know.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, I want to say, as like a bit of a thing that I think people should apply to a lot of emulatory beatbox techniques. Emulatory? Is that even a word? It sounds like something you get when you're sick.
Yeah,
some sort of medical procedure with a tube. Anyways,
white coats.
I think it's very important when you're trying to learn or trying to imitate an instrument that exists in the real world. I think it's super important not to listen to the beatboxer doing it. So say, for example, they're watching my tutorial, they get the fundamentals of how I do it, but it's super, super important to go and listen to some turntablists. Go and listen to like instructional scratch videos that are actually on turntables, not on some random 30-something guy sitting in his lounge room pretending to be a record player. You know what I mean? Like, go and watch a Qbert scratch tutorial or something, and when they're showing you the very simple movements of the turntable, take the fundamentals that I've do and then apply that to the sound that you're hearing and find the middle ground, because it's so important to be as close to the instrument as you can. Don't try and get as close to my scratches as you can, because then that's kind of just sounding like a guy who's sounding like a turntable. Just go straight to the, straight to the source of the sound, because then you get the warping of the vinyl. You can hear the pitch bend as it's slowing down and the frequencies, because not only does the tonic of the sound slow down, you also get the overtones, the hisses, the crackles, the resonance. That also changes. So you really have to play almost like, you almost have to pay like scientific attention to the formants and the transients of the sound in order to really, I mean, that's a really like intense way of breaking it down. But I would say that the best way to do it is for sure watch tutorials, listen to people explain their certain techniques, but always use the actual instrument as your primary source. Because for me, it's just it's dependent on vocal range. It's dependent on the resonant chamber of your mouth. So there are always going to be slight variances in the sound depending on who's doing it. You know what I mean? And dudes across the world have got so sick techniques. I watched Firebuzz the other night. He did his vocal scratch challenge, and it was cool, man. It's like so nice to hear someone that isn't me for a change.
This Tom Thum character again. Yeah, listen to him. Yeah. Also, do you see Mike Spawn did his challenge too when he threw on just the original beat maker, and he threw on just a little part of scratching in there. I was just like, I remember that so many classic videos from so many people that now are friends and peers. But like, again, you're scratching at a different level, and I agree with you that people trying to go and imitate what a beatboxer sounds like is different than if you're trying to make a real trumpet sound. And you listen to an actual trumpeter, if you listen to Satchmo, if you listen to some of these great trumpet players, and then try to go and just be like that, not being like, oh, how does that guy make his mouth sound like it, like you said before, and then trying to imitate someone's imitation of it, bring it right to the source. That's definitely a huge, huge good piece of advice from you. And I'm going to keep on asking a question. Hey?
Yeah, no worries. Do you think they were asking me that in a how do you do it show me right now kind of context, or sort of break down the?
Well, I mean, I'm a fan. I'd love to hear you just do some scratching and also just kind of maybe break down examples of it, because I remember at camp you did a good job of breaking that down. And from a student's aspect, I was sitting in the gallery watching you do it and listening and taking it in. But maybe you can do that for the people that are tuned in live right here.
Yeah, I mean, I may as well. Is there somewhere? Where is is there comments popping up somewhere that people like? If I show some stuff, I can help people with things, or should I just go for gold and you can ask me the things?
I have a list of questions that were printed up beforehand, but we have a side chat that's going on right here on the Twitch. If you're on the Twitch, BoxCon Global, we're live and direct for people. I think we have about we had about 100 people, 118 people already tuned in, and now if you want to take a look, there's some side questions, but I'll sift through those for you if you wanted to go and show them how to go, and because I know there's a few questions that Hobbit wanted to know about some stuff, and always got to go and try to go and appease Mr. Hobbit. So
yeah, well, maybe I'll just show a little bit of scratching and then I'll see if I can break down some very succinct basic principles of it. And then people can either hit me up there or just hit me up in the multitude of other avenues that they can access me on, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So the very typical vocal scratch that I do, maybe I'll just see if I can set up a beat on my RC. And then I won't be able to hear you for a while, Scott. So I'll just wax for a bit, and we'll see how I go.
I'm sure that people would like to hear you scratching more so than my voice.
All right, my bro.
Yeah, as he's setting that up one more time, if you guys are just tuning in here, thank you guys for tuning in right live. We are currently talking to Tom Thum, who's in Australia, BoxCon Global. If you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the side comment there. I'll be asking Tom.
If you can hear that, can you put your thumbs up?
I can hear what's going on right now.
I can't hear you, mate. My headphones are plugged into. Okay. Oh, classic case of you plug the headphones into the input.
Tight.
Disconnect like Brexit. Yeah, it's refreshing than your breakfast. Yeah, you know the style came to get wild. Yo. I'm never quitting, say spitting. You know the flow, yo, sick of the corona. Yeah, came to get live, you know the vibe.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh shit.
Jeez. He can't hear me because he's switching over his mic, but that was Tom Thum on the scratches, smashing that. Jeez.
So yeah, that was just like a combination of different face altering techniques. But yeah, man, basically I would say like the one fundamental secret of the fluidity in the scratches that I can do is finding a clean break between your falsetto voice and your real setto voice, your normal voice.
set of voice. Real set of voice. I like that a lot.
A real set of voice. I think that's the proper Latin term for it.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's just finding that really fluid break. So going from like you're like smoothing the transition, so there's not so much of a break, and then I'm going like so just I practice that a lot. Like it's actually a really good exercise to warm up your voice. So if you're getting ready for a show or something like that, just sliding down from your falsetto into your real voice. And I find that if you swallow the sound a little bit, if it's not so present in the front of your mouth, if you're going like, instead of going, really obvious, if you bury the sound, so instead of having it resonating right at the front, if it's right at the back, you're going, you can hide the break a little bit more, and that gives me that real and I also play with resonance a lot. So instead of just going yo, I'm going yo. So you can kind of like get the you can actually hear the sound of the cavity of the mouth getting more constricted, as opposed to just being like you're talking, where you're trying to make your voice clear. In this regard, you're trying to make it as warped and as it's like a lot more. You're trying to find ways to put a natural filter on an unnatural sound. So that's why it's really important to hear the way that the record slows down and the way that, you hear the sound warp, and you got to think of ways inside your like physiology, inside your actual like present anatomy to warp that sound. So whether that's like changing the resonance of your mouth or using your finger for the transforms and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of different ways to think about it, but you just need to watch it happen and then try and brainstorm ways that you can do it. That's just this sound with a bass underneath. And then you can do like crazy stuff, man, because it's just a tiny, tiny little movement. So you can do all these like... just there's so many different ways to think about it, and also it's often not just vocal sounds that are being scratched, it's everything, like it's everything, instruments, bass sounds, just something.
Hey man, I'm just letting you do your thing, because that's amazing.
Yeah, I think I just did the equivalent of splatter my brain across the wall. So you can just find all the forensic